Introducing the AMAZE TV app. Entertainment everywhere, anytime. Key features include unlimited live streaming, live TV, high-quality streams, and on-demand content. It has a user-friendly interface, personalized recommendation, can be accessed anywhere, and more. Download the AMAZE TV app from Google Play Store or App Store. Why wait? Download the AMAZE TV app today for more content. You can also visit us at our website www.amazetv.sl.live. Also catch up with us on all our social media platforms.
Hello and welcome to AMAZE TV channel 32 and to all our social media platform AMAZE TV SL on Facebook, Instagram and on TikTok, AMAZE TV. This is the program Inside the Newspaper with me, Ramid Kamara. This program is going to meet you on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Let's go for a short break. We'll be right back.
Introducing the AMAZE TV app. Entertainment everywhere, anytime. Key features include unlimited live streaming, live TV, high-quality streams, and on-demand content. It has a user-friendly interface, personalized recommendation, can be accessed anywhere, and more. Download the AMAZE TV app from Google Play Store or App Store. Why wait? Download the AMAZE TV app today for more content. You can also visit us at our website www.amazetv.sl.live. Also catch up with us on all our social media platforms. Watching AMAZE Television.
Welcome back, viewers. Well, if you're just tuning in, this is the program Inside the Newspaper, where we are going to look at top stories of our national newspapers. And to help us look at these top stories, I have with me very eloquent personalities that are going to give a critical analysis on the subject matter. I have with me the first guest, Suleiman Jallo, who is a journalist. Welcome to Inside the Newspaper.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
And I also have with me a second guest, who is no less another person, but Edmondson Sonicole, who is the CEO for Journalists Against Injustice for Good Governance. Welcome to Inside the Newspaper.
Thank you. Good morning to all our viewers.
Viewers, we're going to look at the first newspaper, Sierra Leone Times, in which one of its key subjects is corruption in blue uniform. Passengers pay the price. And we're also going to look at the Kenema residents that praises the presidential town hall. And in Awoko newspaper, we're going to look at the UBA Sierra Leone's 2024 audited financial statement reveal stellar growth and strong commitment to financial inclusion. And we also going to look at the desperate mother appeals to Parliament over missing of 2-year-old daughter. We're going to look at the citizens approve government performance on security and education, but are concerned about the lack of jobs and equality. We're going to look at the Daybreak newspaper that says chaos, Dr. Alex Harding accused of fraud. And finally, we're going to look at we're going to look at the Eye Opener newspaper that says Dr. Fatima Bio, the strategist, both enemies and friends can't ignore. And at the end, we're going to take a critical look at President Bio accuses chairmanship of authority. President Bio assumes chairmanship of authority of ECOWAS head of state and government. We're going to first take a very critical look at Salon Times newspaper. Gentlemen, corruption in blue uniform. Passengers pay for the price. What do you have to say, Suleiman?
Good morning once again, and thank you for having me. And, by the way, I love the look of the studio, and sounds amazing, fantastic. Thanks to the management of AMAZE TV for a good work. It sounds very interesting to me, being a Sierra Leonean and being a passenger as well, though I'm not in blue uniform. And I do have friends in blue, but again, it's very much important before we discuss issues, put it into context.
Exactly.
Blue uniform, it can be a school uniform, it can be police. We even have some people in other security agencies that uses
on blue.
That put on blue. So perhaps the writer could have made it very clear to us which of the blue uniform he or she means. However, passengers, which price are they paying? Are they paying the price of one destination to the other? Are they paying the price of fuel that drivers uses or vehicle owners uses? It's very much good that we put in this context. However, also for the case uniform, blue uniform, we do have police that are using blue uniform. Those in traffic use white and are flashy. Some people put it in black.
But when they're talking about blue uniform, the statement is very clear. Passengers, corruption in blue uniform. So we know the role the Sierra Leone police is playing in terms of vehicles, in terms of transportation in the country. And definitely, if this says passengers are paying the price, blue uniform, corruption in blue uniform, definitely I think we will have an eye-opener of what they actually mean. And definitely we know when we are looking at the aspect of the police, we tend to make it very much obvious to say blue uniform. When we say blue uniform, we definitely know what we're talking about. So I think the writer is trying to say that the police allegedly is corrupt and the passengers are the one paying the price.
Okay, now let's say, because from the picture that are displayed on the newspaper, you see clear the police traffic officer controlling the vehicle or setting his hands inside the vehicle. It sounds sometimes very funny. People in authority are accused of corruption and they remain silent. People in authority are accused of corruption and they respond, painting shiny lips on their mouth without saying the reality. It's very much important people understand the works of the police. And police themselves understand what their role and responsibility in society. you and I know the work of the police is to protect lives and properties.
Yeah.
But in recent times, it seems to be the other way around. I live in Jui. Sometimes I feel frustrated and flabbergasted seeing what our brothers and sisters in blue doing to our brothers as well.
Yeah.
It will interest you to know that you have 5 blue uniform people standing at one point where you can't find any traffic congestion. By right, their work should be controlling, ensuring free flow of traffic.
Of course.
For example, just after Orubo Bridge, before you reach into Jue Junction, you see them standing there. After passing by them, you go to Jue Junction, you meet traffic congestion. You stand there for over 10-15 minutes. Just at one side, you find out that they are not around there to do the work. And all of them standing around that road having a sheet paper. What are they writing?
Exactly.
A driver or a vehicle controller will park the vehicle. You see an unfinished fence, they go inside, they come out smiling. What are they going to do in there? What are they taking there? What the police are asking them for? Because to me, if I have my vehicle license and I have my all of those documents are intact with me and well insured, I have no business of standing with you. I have no business of giving you money. Besides, if I'm a police officer, I stop a vehicle driver and he or she stopped, I ask for particular document you don't have, the law should pay a fine. Paying a fine, I have to give a ticket. I don't have right to receive money. But you see them standing sometimes. I mean, it's so frustrating.
It's very, very,
especially
very
on Saturdays. Okay, now frustratingly enough, for now I'm seeing new people with traffic marshals. You see traffic marshals, traffic police, and that of the SLRSE. All of them doing one thing: stopping one vehicle, one keke, one Okada. You see 5-10 police officers going to, or security officers rushing to that person.
Let me hold you.
Let
me hold you for a moment.
Sometimes you see, few days ago we saw the price of fuel dropped.
Definitely.
But the price from here to Waterloo still remains trillions. Driver says, "Oh, SO2." Or sorry, I know I'm a parliamentary journalist.
Let me hold you for a moment. Definitely, there should be a division of labor when it comes to the responsibility of the police. Edmondson, what do you have to say about this? Because it is clear that when they say blue uniform, they definitely know who they are talking about, and it is corruption in blue uniform, and passengers are paying the price.
Thank you. As my brother rightly said here, they will be doing injustice to the police if we specify just blue uniform. My brother told you just now that you have the SLRSA guys. They are putting wine and dark color trousers, right? And they too are doing the same thing that the police are doing. And you have marshals as well. They do collect money. If we specify people in blue uniforms, then we are doing injustice to the police. But notwithstanding all what I've said, now, you know, there are a few things we should look. I keep saying, I'm working close the police. It's true, the police, they are corrupt, some of them. But the honest truth is, there are people who are making extreme sacrifices, that are doing things that they ought to be either elevated by promotion, or compensated for the work they are doing. And it's not happening that way. You will talk to some officers, they will be in one position for over 10-15 years. They will not promote them. But that's not the issue here. These are some of the things, these are the injustices that they are doing to the police themselves, right? So the system should be in place wherein you compensate people for what they are doing, then they will work more. I'm not saying it is legal, right, for them to take bribe. We don't understand what's happening. For me, most times I appreciate people for what they are doing. I appreciate police because they will be standing under rain and under sun, doing their work. And if, for instance, they need water, they need something standing there, somebody needs to appreciate them. But some of them are imposing themselves or force people to pay. That's wrong, right?
Yes.
If you think somebody is doing good work, appreciate him or her, right? Yeah. I agree with that. I do it myself. But it's in a situation wherein somebody will force you to give money, it is wrong and it's an injustice. But like my brother said, corruption is everywhere, in every offices, not just limited to the police or SRISA staff, right? Yeah. Everything seems to be so wrong here in this country. And we need to cry out as journalists, civil society, to put the things that are wrong right. Because if, for instance, somebody sits in an office, right, they are paying him huge sum of money at the end of the month, and your subject, the people under you that are working, they are the one doing the work, the hard work, to make that institution go, to make the institution, people believe that they are doing something. Yeah. Then if they are not getting that money, sees Mr. Kolu is sitting at the top there, is swimming inside wealth, collecting money and take it home, definitely down the line, those people will start to do things for them to get money, to make money.
Edmondson, you talked about appreciation. Definitely, yeah. Appreciation is the application for more. Mm-hmm. But don't you think that police officers might see the good gestures of some people in trying to appreciate their work, to enforce that on others that don't think to appreciate them? Let's say, for example, you go by Lumley and you see a police officer that is very good, and you decide to give the police officer, let's say, 10 million as an appreciation. And I also decide to take the same lane, and I don't think to give the police officer, because definitely I don't owe the police officer.
That's right.
And in that regard, because you've given the police officer 10 million, the police officer tend to believe that I also should follow suit. And if I fail to follow suit, then he decides to like do some kind of wrong. Yeah, exactly, for just an unnecessary situation.
Well, in a situation like that, as you mentioned earlier, I'm the CEO for Journalists Against Injustice for Good Governance all the time. I'll be running from one police station to another. My colleagues who are all members of Journalists Against Injustice, every time we are doing that, going from one station to another, my phone is on silent now, calls will keep coming for maybe rider, traffic people, people who are using the traffic, public vehicle owners and things like that. Maybe they've been arrested and taken to a station. So we intervene most of the time to see what's the crime he or she has committed. Then we see how we can walk around it to see for justice to prevail. At times we talk to them for them to tamper down justice with mercy. And at times, some of the police, they do have, in every situation, I keep saying this, you have good and bad people. There are decent and good police people. I've worked with a lot of them.
Definitely.
Right? And at the same time, there are people, and the problem here is, for instance, police now, I think there is a process for them to take in new police officers. You would not believe that somebody in high places, somebody in parliament, an authority will call the IG, said, okay, I'm sending 20, 30 names. And IG will not turn his back on those people who are in position. It will accept it, no background check. They won't do anything to know whether that person is a criminal or not. That's why we have a lot of bad seats within the institution, within the military, the police, and we are blaming the head. We cannot blame them, because if presidents appoint me and put me in this office, and now people in parliament, a minister calls me, he wants me to do something because he sits at that big office, right? Or the offices they are occupying, he called Mr. Cole, I want you to do this and this for me. For the respect, because relationship between me and him, I will accept. And just employ people and put them in offices, and they cannot perform. Whilst you have people who have all the requirements, all what it takes, to serve in that office, they will ignore and just take because it comes from a minister, it comes from somebody in parliament. So we need to do a proper background check to get people who have integrity. The community should know that. Community leaders. But you have chief within the community that will give criminals to the police for them to recruit that person, to enroll the person into the police force, to the military, or into the civil service. And these are corrupt people. Once they get in there, they will find ways and means to do corruption.
Edmondson, let me hold you there for a second. Let's move to the Kenema residents hailing Presidential Town Hall, which is a very progressive initiative that has been actively going on in the country, in which the president is going to, in a form of giving a report to its citizens to say this and this is what have been going through, and the citizens will also have the opportunity to ask questions to really get a clear understanding of how governance is actually going. What is your take in this particular subject?
Well, it's a good thing actually for president to meet the people. For me, it's president meeting the people, right? The only thing I didn't like about, I hope we will do justice to ourselves and the people of this country. There was one had been to Mali, which just one lady, everyone was talking, not songs of praises. There are people who are out there that are going through difficult times. There are people out there who things are very difficult and hard for them. Yeah. You know, we meet with those people, we talk to them, we try to counsel people, but it's hard for everybody.
Of course.
Right? So in such meetings, I was talking now about the one that happened at Bintumani. One lady stood up. She said that President, she mentioned things that were going on that was wrong, the price of things and so on. You know, the security and other people surrounded that lady. She was unable to pass her question. President was sitting at the stage there. President said, let her talk, let her talk. But the minister was saying something. The other people around the security, they tried to take a mic off her and so on. That was bad. So if president is meeting the people, please, I'm appealing to everybody, the security, the minister. It's good for president to listen to the people who are president is governor, right? The people who are the subject, of course. Then it will know what people are going through. Presidents have advisors that supposed to inform presidents about the day-to-day happenings, right? Things that are happening that president should know that this is hurting the people, this is not good, people are saying this, but president doesn't have that time. He's a very busy man, so the advisors, they have work to do. But if president is meeting, thanks to the Ministry of Information that is organizing that, and civic education needs to be out there passing information. But the other thing again, most of these offices, they are handicapped. They don't have money to execute their work as well. So government has a lot to do. And the scare part of this whole thing is, though you know that money is not available for the ministries to execute their duties, there are people who are so corrupt, they are taking money and they are not doing anything to them. Which is very, bad. Very bad. Now, with this thing, I know people will want to, if it was Freetown here, people will want to talk about the constraints they are facing with electricity. Some areas are getting light. Whenever they give them light, the light cannot put their fridge on, they cannot use electric fan cannot work, some of the bulbs cannot come on. So these are a burning issue for people which they need to address.
Edmondson, let me put a pause to that and move to Jallo.
That's okay.
When it comes to the presidential town hall, people are hailing, they are praising, in which definitely we have to cry out the problems of the country, so the president will be aware of those problems. What do you have to say about that?
You know, in Sierra Leone, we are living in a time where everybody sing and dance and turn over. You know, it sounds funny, but it's not funny really. Citizens hail presidential town hall. I mean, sometimes we need to go beyond stories that have been published in various newspapers, because I'm very aware that we do have sensational stories just for the paper to sell. But sometimes the headlines, or those headline stories, might not really resonate exactly what is in the content. The recent or the just concluded town hall in Kenema, for me, I will not call it the presidential town hall for a single reason, because the president did not attend. After months of advertisement, with all the resources government used on that president, it is very good. For me, it's very much important our leaders engage citizens, because citizens make them as leaders.
Yeah.
Also, the leaders make citizens. Had it not been citizens, we would not have leaders. Again, had it not been leaders, we don't have citizens, because everyone would just leave how they want.
Yeah.
They just ended town hall in Kenema. For me, particularly as a citizen, I'm frustrated and I feel somehow disappointed. Because if you are telling me the chief minister represented the president along with 25 ministers, with this, the vice president was here, isn't he not qualified to represent the president? Mind you, the vice president's wife is from Kenema. Or was it necessary for the chief minister to represent the president instead of the vice president? Amongst those 25 ministers, how many of them are from Kenema?
Yeah.
What was the things discussed? I mean, I engaged somebody from the strategic communication department of the Division of Information and Education, and he told me there were a lot of things, because I asked him why the president didn't attend the town hall, and he said the president had an emergency issue, maybe because of security reasons. He is the president, and up to date we don't have any public information as to why the president could not attend that town hall meeting. So for me, saying citizens hailed presidential town hall meeting, I don't know exactly who citizens and why was they hailed. Issues discussed about health, education, agriculture, employment. Is that new? Is it new? So for me, I will not join those citizens to hail the president. However, the town hall is something very much important. But again, we need to look at accountability and transparency. How many was spent? How did they spend? Those 25 ministers that went there to represent the president, is it commensurate the money they use as to whether the president would have used the same amount or below that amount? Somehow we're not just celebrating. At times we need to be somehow critical. For me, it's very fine. I mean, for me, I hail the town hall as well. Just as citizen, I'm not citizen of Kekenema though.
Jallo, you actually ask very important questions, and definitely when the president is not around, it is the responsibility, it is the constitutional responsibility for the vice president to attend and replace the president in that regard. Let's move to the Daybreak newspaper that says chaos, Dr. Alex Harding accused of fraud, which is very, very important. This is a very important individual in the SLPP party, and allegedly, of course, he's been accused of fraud in that regard. What do you have to say about that, Edmondson?
Actually, if Dr. Harding has been accused, I think we need to go further to know what he has done, what prompts the author to say he has been accused. We need to know that, then you'll be able to talk on that, right?
Yeah.
But as I said, corruption is everywhere, right? I don't want to pinpoint because I don't know much about what he might have done. So if we can get the paper to look at what they said, then we can talk around that area.
You know, they've just concluded the election within within the framework of the party, and definitely that has sparked a whole lot of controversies around. So when this particular issue comes up, you tend to look at it from that perspective.
Okay, if that is it, first and foremost, I really surprised at the way manner this lower level election went, right?
Yeah.
Because there were problems in different places. Once, a couple of times I went down towards the party office, went to the new city hall. There were problems within that area. The police were overwhelmed, running from one place to another to cool down situations, right? And it happens in other places. We saw in other places where people, one guy was holding pistol looking for his one of his colleagues. They belong to the same party. It's a cause for concern to rush journalists against injustice. We mentioned that before in the past when we saw those things. Yeah. And this is just within SLPP party, not the general election. Yeah. This is within the party. Within. So that is things that should not happen.
Exactly.
It's wrong. It's an injustice they are doing to the people, the community people. Not everybody has the guts, the mind to go out there using forms of machete, thick stones to chase the other person. So they are doing injustice. So if they are looking at it in that matter, yes, the bulk of the problem should be on Dr. Harding because he is the chairman, right?
Yes.
And also, president has a work to do because I think president is the Dr. Harding is the chairman, right? President is the leader. So Dr. Harding is supposed to report to His Excellency the President, who is the father of the nation, right? So they can find ways and means to iron these differences. Yeah. So if that's what they are saying, then I agree, because if Dr. Harding failed to control the lawless behavior of their own party, then I do agree with them that Dr. Harding is corrupt.
In that regard, Jallo, this is a very, very sensitive motion. What do you have to say about that?
It's not sensitive so much because it's not something new. We only say something sensitive because if only it's new or it happens coincidence. Since the start of the lower level election of the ruling Sierra People's Party, I said earlier, we are living in a state where everybody is singing and dancing in Tonobo. I don't know how to say it in English, but again, you know, sometimes...
They are flipping.
You know, sometimes we laugh things not because they are funny or we find them interesting, but just to ease stress.
That's right.
You know, since the start of the lower level election of the ruling Sierra People's Party, sometimes ago, can I say last year or early this year, there has been a lot of back and forth, petition, non-petition, chaos. I mean, I read information on social media wherein they're saying, because Dr. Prince Harding was the returning officer of the right level election in both districts, and has been replaced according to sources. I think that is exactly what newspaper is talking about.
Okay.
Sources said, unconfirmed, that he was favoring one of the candidates. Thus, he wanted to rig the election for his favored candidate.
Yes.
And corruption is not about just collecting money. We're just talking people in blue.
Yeah.
Though we could not, I could not land my points that I wanted to raise. You play injustice against me.
I'll take care of that.
You play injustice against me. Thank God we have our campaigner here.
Exactly.
After the show, I'll make my complaint formally.
Apologies.
Accepted. So anyone serious note? Again, Dr. Prince Harding is the chairman. He's the eye. He's the head. He's the front runner.
Yeah.
He is the boss currently of the Israeli People's Party. Being an overseer, you cannot be the judge in your own court.
Yeah. Definitely.
If he's the chairman, must he appoint himself as a returning officer? We don't have people within the party, within the government. They could even hire independent bodies. I mean, independent, even hire a firm to go to the election. We just had this large election of which I voted for my candidate. We have a very fruitful, transparent, very fair election.
They need to copy from us.
I mean, our election commission is there, and if anybody want to use her or want to make use of this logic, I mean, we are available. We serve the public. For us, I mean,
Jallo, definitely.
So again,
this is Inside the Newspaper that comes to you every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We have critically looked at several issues that are on the front pages of our national newspapers. Let's go for a short break and we'll be right back.
Introducing the AMAZE TV app. Entertainment everywhere, anytime. Key features include unlimited live streaming, live TV, high quality streams, and on-demand content. It has a user-friendly interface, personalized recommendation, can be accessed anywhere, and more. Download the AMAZE TV app from Google Play Store or App Store. Why wait? Download the AMAZE TV app today for more content. You can also visit us at our website www.amazetv.sl.live. Also catch up with us on all our social media platforms.
Welcome back, viewers. This is the program Inside the Newspaper, coming to you only on AMAZE TV channel 32. Back to you, Jallo. You are trying to land your point on the issue of Dr. Alex Harding accused of fraud. Can you do it as swift as possible?
Again, the caption is chaos. We all have seen, like I said, Kenema, Kono, Bo, and other parts of the country, and the ongoing lower level election of the ruling party, there have been so much chaos. At the time, the political party liberation office was filled with supporters of the ruling SLPP party. For me, sometimes I find it very unfortunate. People call themselves "we are one people." Mind you, the motto of the party is "one people, one country."
Yeah.
If they themselves are causing some chaos amongst themselves, it's a call for concern. I think the government authorities concerned should do the needful in making sure elections is not do or die. In any competition, I believe there must be a winner and there must be a loser.
Yeah.
And with that, it's not compulsory only for me to be the winner, neither for my opponent to be the loser. Being a Muslim, I always fervently believe that power is given by God, as it's stated in the Quran clearly in Surah Al-Baqarah, that God gives power to those who He wishes to. And as the series says, if God says yes, no man can say no. So I think it's very much important for Dr. Alex Harding to come out clearly on the public to clear himself or to clear his innocency or to take it otherwise, because mind you, the captain is accused. And in Sierra Leone, anyone is proven innocent. Anyone is innocent until proven guilty by the court of jurisdiction.
Of course. So definitely, Dr. Alex Harding has to come out and speak to the people in that regard. Let's move to the eye-opener newspaper that says President Bio assumes chairmanship of authority of ECOWAS, heads of state and governance, which is a very, very important, a very significant aspect in that regard. Edmondson, what does this mean for Sierra Leone?
Actually, it's a very good thing for Sierra Leone. One thing I do know, President Bio is a lucky man, actually. He happens to be the head of state before. He has that record, and now democratically elected president is an history in Sierra Leone. He has set that precedent. And globally, when he came to office, right, so many good things. He has achieved so many good things. And one thing I know about President Bio is hardly talk. He's a very good listener. He listens and he will act when he chooses to. Sure. But he's a disciplinarian, which at this time, myself, Journalists Against Injustice, there are a few things that I am tilting a little bit, hoping that the discipline we are looking for in-house in Sierra Leone we doesn't see President Bio exhibit that discipline, but it's a man with charisma. When he presents himself out there, people respect him, and for that reason he keep achieving so many things. Under his tenure, we happen to be chairman for the UN at a point in time, Security Council.
Yes.
So that's a very good accolade to this country. And also Dr. Fatima Bio as well. We will have to talk about her because it's in the same paper. I will dwell into that for when we get to that.
Okay.
So for President Bio, it's a good thing for Sierra Leonean. We should be rejoicing, though the difficulty things are hard for everybody globally, and it's hitting us here in Sierra Leone. So people will not know this for us who have exposed. It's a good thing for him to be a chairman again for the.
Let us look at the issue of Yenga, in which we've been complaining to the ECOWAS to say ECOWAS need to come in and take decisions. Yenga belongs to Sierra Leone and all.
Right.
That's a very serious issue at hand.
It is.
And now our president is the chairman of the ECOWAS. What do you think, or what can you predict in that regard?
Well, definitely from the point of view of journalists against injustice, the last time we saw the young people protesting at Yenga, they were so angry, they wanted troops to go and push the Guineans and take. It cannot happen that way. So we ask for everybody to stay calm, and let's use all the fronts, right?
Yeah.
It could be diplomatic, relationship with ourselves and Guinea.
Yes.
We can engage that. Then we can take it to the international community, the ECOWAS, or even Mano River, ECOWAS, and globally as well to the international community. We can use all those fronts. Then we should not forget, let's be prepared, because we cannot let Yenga go like that. So we should, militarily, we should be prepared. Try to put our armament together, get our men prepared, because I saw the war, I covered the war, so that's the option. We should be prepared. The military should get ready, for which if the need arises, we can go in forcefully to retake what belongs to us, because it's an injustice. Journalists against injustice is looking at it from a point of view, it's an injustice. But President Bio, as I said earlier, is a very good listener. He doesn't hastily make decision. We hope they are doing things, but the only problem, they are not coming out to tell us what's happening. They keep it close to their chest, but we hope they are doing something. I know globally they have reached certain point, and I believe they are working on it, which is appointment again to this office. I believe it will do everything humanly possible for ECOWAS to do something
and
about
definitely
it.
That has to happen, because it's been quite some time we've been struggling with the issue of Yenga.
That's right.
Jello, let's look at the chairmanship of the president. What do you actually have to say about that? Because we've used diplomacy in that regard several times over, from the issue, from the time of President Kaba to President Koroma. Now is President Bio's turn, and he's been given the opportunity to lead ECOWAS. What do you think will happen in the coming years in the issue of Yenga?
First of all, before delving into the answer to your question, as a Sierra Leonean, I want to use this opportunity to congratulate the president and Sierra Leoneans as a whole and the country at large, because it means Sierra Leone, we have been organized. So far, mind you, we are a current member of the UN Security Council, and in a few months to come, Sierra Leone will be chairing the UN Security Council for 1 month. Those believed to the end time of the 2 years tenure, us being in the UN Security Council, and President Bio is the chairman of the C10 within the sub-region. And I think it's a good thing. It means Sierra Leone, we are doing great in the international world. Mind you, President Bio said he's traveling because he wants to change
Brand.
Or he wants to rebrand the name of the country in the outside world. And over the years, so I know have witnessed catastrophes, and I mean ranging from war, flooding, disaster, Ebola, coronavirus, and now we have the mpox in the country, which cause for serious concern as it regards to our health as citizens. It means because his functions will be to promoting peace, unity, security across the region and beyond. And his leadership come at a point wherein the region needs a stronger collaboration among member states in to ensuring stability. My brother talked about Yanga. Yanga has been a decade, and again, it's very much important for people to understand that President Bio is not the first head of state of Sierra Leone to assume that office. The late Shaka Stephen was there once. He led the ECOWAS head of state once. But again, it means Sierra Leone in the coming years will be hosting heads of state across the region, will be coming in country. At least it will also improve or promote our tourism sector. Yeah. And again, it will also encourage investors to come into the country. I mean, it has a huge impact into the country. But like my brother said, being a citizen, I'm so concerned about the issue of Yanga. The government has been talking about diplomacy. But our neighbors are not using diplomacy. Can they use other means again beyond diplomacy? I'm not saying for them to take the gun or to do otherwise. But I mean, we have the International Court of Justice. But now that we are chairing the ECOWAS, I'm very hopeful. I'm very optimistic that President Bill will use the good office for us to retrieve Yanga, for Yanga to be back to Sierra Leoneans. Because I'll tell you for the fact that Sierra Leoneans in that part of the country are constrained, they are suffering, and I'm not sure if these are they'll be doing their farming because of the threat and the intimidation that they are receiving from our neighbor Guinea. But overall, it's a plus to Sierra Leone. And again, I'm pretty sure President Bill will also use this office again to restore peace across the sub-region like Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Guinea as well. Guinea also they are also living under dictatorship because Mamadou he took over. He's not ruling as a democratically elected president. He has promised election over the years, but I mean time has elapsed. But I believe, being as Doumbouya is his friend, he also used this good office to advocate for the people of Guinea, for them to go back to democracy rule.
It is definitely a pleasure for Sierra Leone to take over the chairmanship of the ECOWAS, and hopefully Yanga's issue will be coming to an end. Let's move on to Dr. Fatima Bio, the strategist. Both enemies and friends can't ignore. Edmondson. What does this mean to you?
I wanted to beat the gun when I was talking about the first gentleman, because Dr. Fatima Bio is the better half. But actually, according to that paper, I like the caption they give to her. She is really a strategist, right? The only thing with Dr. Fatima Bio, she has done so many good things, which we need to give her accolade, right? For, and she have her excesses, which I can deal with that some other time. But one thing for me with Dr. Fatima Bio, she has done so many good things. The Hands of Our Girls thing is a good thing for me because he instilled some fear into people who were taking advantage on young girls. Yeah. Right? He instilled fear into them, though in some quarters people are calling us journalists against injustice. You guys are saying this, some people are doing this thing, they are getting away with it. Some reporters made in police station, which we cannot cover everywhere, but we encourage people to keep calling us. Then we will engage the appropriate offices to see what we can do to find ways and means to solve some of this problem. Yeah, the Answer for Gas thing is a good thing, but Journalists Against Injustice is looking for ways and means wherein Dr. Fatima Bio can use some of the resources it can outsource to create ways and means for empower these young girls. Some of them are dropped out, some doesn't want to go to school anymore, wherein they can learn to use their hands to do things so that they can be self-sufficient, right? Yeah. And apart from that, there are other things she has been doing. The other day, she gave an interview, a very brilliant interview. I mentioned, we are not talking about light, but I dragged the light into the newspaper as a part of injustice done to the people of this country. Now, Bumbuna is controlled, according to her, by breaches, right? And light 24 hours round the clock, right?
Yes.
360 something days, they are getting light in London. And if Britain has hands in Bumbuna, we are not getting light. It's an injustice they are doing. Dr. Fatima Bio mentioned that in one interview, and he thinks the global injustices that is happening, that Dr. Fatima Bio mentioned, talk about what she's, let's don't forget, she's the better half. She's very close, the first gentleman who is our president. So he knows some of these things. I know some of them when I was walking close the seat of power. And when she speaks from a point of view because she knows what's happening. And it's true, I do agree with her. Because when things is happening, the international community will pile pressure as long as they are getting what they are getting. They are the one stage managing this kind of unrest. Globally, that is causing problems. So if Dr. Fatima Bio can be vocal enough to speak out in an interview, international interview she gave to one of the media house, and she said all those things, I commend her. She's a motherly figure, but I'm pleading to her to minimize some of her excesses.
Edmondson,
excesses.
Definitely we're going to call you back to analyze on these issues, because it shows that you are well grounded, you are well seasoned in that regard. For a close, Jallo, what would be your closing statement in this regard?
Again, sometimes it's not what the paper writes, or it's not the captions, but what the content says is very much important. Because being a journalist, I'm very much curious about knowing the content. Sometimes we write sensational stories for us to get customers, or for our business to get sale. But in a more serious, or frankly speaking, Dr. Fatima Bio is the kind of woman that Sierra Leone needs, at least 5 of them. It's very much important. Currently, she is also the president of OFLAD. I mean, something, she won, she won against the president, the first lady of Nigeria. Regardless of all the resources allegedly the woman uses. That was a time when she was honored in Parliament. The female caucus honored her, and there was a play kit showing exactly what occurred in was it in Nairobi they held the election? In Nairobi. I think it's very much important, and over the years she has been very firm and consistent in her advocacy, looking at in women's rights, girls' advocacy, amongst others, like the House of Our Girls. The recent bill that was passed last year, the Child Marriage Act, that's very fantastic, and she champions that bill, and that bill was unanimously approved by Parliament. In fact, that bill was the fastest bill to be passed in Parliament without any back and forth. I mean, it's very much important, and she's very strategic.
Definitely.
So she says the ongoing lower level election within the party, she's playing a very strategic role. I mean, it's very much important, and I wish her well in her journey. And Sierra Leoneans, women, need to follow suit, and in terms of doing what they could for the betterment of all. Definitely,
Sierra Leonean women need to follow suit the steps of Dr. Fatima Bio, the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone. As time is not in our favor, viewers, this is the program Inside the Newspaper, coming to you live on AMAZE TV channel 32. Don't forget, viewers, this program will also come to you on Wednesday 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and also on Friday 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. I am your host, Ramid Kamara.
Introducing the AMAZE TV app. Entertainment everywhere, anytime. Key features include unlimited live streaming, live TV, high quality streams, and on-demand content. It has a user-friendly interface, personalized recommendation, can be accessed anywhere, and more. Download the AMAZE TV app from Google Play Store or App Store Why wait? Download the AMAZE TV app today for more content. You can also visit us at our website www.amazetv.sl.live. Also catch up with us on all our social media platforms.